Well, good evening. It being 5:30 on January 26th, I will call to order the regular meeting of the Shelburne Select Board. The first item of business is the review of minutes. Um, we received in our packets, no, actually, we received over the weekend or this morning early, the minutes from our January 12th meeting. We also have received today by email the January 22nd regular session and January 22nd executive session. I've reviewed all. I found no changes necessary to any. Rod, did you have a chance to look at them? Do you have any
I
input?
I did. They look fine to me.
So all we need is a motion to accept all three.
So moved.
It's been moved. I'm sorry, I will second. It's been moved and
Okay.
seconded to approve all three minutes in the manner they were presented. We'll put the matter to a vote. Rod?
Aye.
And I am aye. Motion passes 2-0-0. The next item is liaison reports. Rod, do you have anything for us this evening from?
Yeah. Tom's working with our two fire chiefs on a mass casualty exercise, and he's getting a quote from Current Electric for a cowl gym generator. And
Terrific.
once he gets that, then he'll present that to us,
Very good.
and that's about it.
Okay. Andrew has joined us. We're at liaison reports. Do you have one for us tonight, Andrew?
Yeah, I did attend the Pratt library meeting, and we did not have quorum, so we just had a little chat with Lori and one other member who was there, and we are hoping to reconvene this coming Thursday and see if we can get a quorum together.
Okay.
I have not met with Jeff Johnston, our highway super, this week. He's been pretty busy, as you all know. So that's my report is what you see out there in the streets and the plows getting their work done.
Yeah,
But as far as I know, the town has been well taken care of during the storm.
good. I haven't received any feedback to the contrary either. Um, Terry, do you have anything for us this evening?
Um, no, I sent you an email, each of you an email last week about the digital accessibility requirement that small towns are going to have to meet by April 2027. And I reached out to Linda Dunleavy this week and suggested that that might be something that the FERCog could offer assistance with. So she's going to look into possibility of acquiring a consultant that could meet with several of the small towns and help us through the process. I have another training on tomorrow actually on the subject matter just to see if I can become more familiar with what's needed on our website.
Okay.
I think
Terrific.
I did see in my email pile a invitation from the Attorney General's office for a um, webinar on accessibility in municipalities. I think it's on February 5th.
Mhm.
Do you have that?
I attended the one sponsored by MMA and the Executive Office of Technology and Security. I have one coming up tomorrow, and then I'll take a look at what the Attorney General's office is offering as well. But it's really going to affect everybody who provides updates to our website, who might have social media pages like Facebook. It's going to require a lot of review and training by everyone in order to get this right.
A lot of it is the ADA requirements for accessibility for blind, deaf, etc. I noticed today's recorder, Ashfield, just went online with a new updated website. Be interesting to reach out to them and find out if they think they met the upcoming requirements in that regard too. But I didn't get a chance to follow the link to look at it myself. But there was a little story on it today in the recorder, so
Okay.
everybody's trying to pay attention to it for sure. Thank you for that. My liaison reports include the police department. Only thing of note there is that the select board did meet last Thursday and negotiated a new contract to renew the 3-year contract for the chief of police. The Police Services Advisory Committee meets later this week, so I don't have anything on that since I think our last meeting was in November or December. Feels like forever, but there was nothing pending until this time frame anyway. The Mohawk Trail Regional School District teacher contract negotiations, they call it Unit A. I'm serving as the representative to the towns, all the towns in the district. The process is obviously done in executive session, so I can't share much, but it's going to be a challenge financially for all towns when we're trying to absorb insurance issues and school budgets. So this obviously will have some impact on that. And at one point, I'll be able to share some information with you, but not as yet. Next item is noteworthy news, and we did get a email from the town of Buckland, actually, who had reached out with regard to the closure of the sidewalk over the Iron Bridge on the downriver side, and what's going on with that. And she did get a reply from the DOT, along with some pictures of the I believe it's an I-beam that's under that sidewalk that's pretty well compromised. And the observation was made that people, even with basically a sawhorse and sidewalk closed sign at either end, people still use it. And apparently they are looking into a better barrier on either end of the sidewalk to close that off. The question we all receive is, how long is this going to be this way? Their very brief remarks are, we are working with a consultant to develop repair plans and are also looking at funding. I am hopeful that we will be able to do something this spring. We'll look at getting better signs to barricade the sidewalk. So that's a quick update on that. Any other noteworthy news items that I am unaware of from anyone? Hearing none, we'll continue on to old business, Cowell heat pump system. As you know, I think it was the top floor heat pump system that was out. The heat pump system on the lower level was still working. Apparently, there's an issue with the lines that run between the compressor outside and the heat pump heads that are hung inside. Some sort of coating issue that's caused pinhole leaks and apparently has been narrowed down. The last I heard was they thought our vendor for that install thought that they had it whooped. Are they up and running yet, Terry? Do you know?
They were up and running. As of this morning, I got a text from the Cowell Gym director saying that there's a leak in one of them. So I asked her to contact Jamrog and get them back in there again.
Good Lord. Nothing but problems with that system up there, I'm afraid. Hopefully they can get it. And thank goodness the first floor where water and the like is being taken care of, and it just means for a cold gymnasium. But thanks for staying on that and keeping us up to date, Terry.
You're welcome.
I'm going to add item B to old business, Deerfield Avenue walk signs. You recall the I forget, is he treasurer? One of the members of the board of the Rod and Gun Club came before us about uh, the failure to shovel the sidewalk along their building on Deerfield Avenue. Um, they said it's been 40 years they've never shoveled it because of the danger of ice and snow falling off the roof. It's a metal roof with a steep pitch, and they say that they were advised previously by the town not to do it. We made a formal decision to ask the highway department to close that sidewalk during the winter months. And I followed up with Jeff on that, and he has ordered signs to go at either end of the building for that stretch of sidewalk, indicating that it's closed. And they have not come in as yet. I also sent you, Rod and Andrew, by email a photo of a sign I saw attached to the buildings along Brattleboro's Main Street sidewalk with a message about snow and ice. That might be a nice second piece there at either end. It's a small, kind of innocuous sign. And I thought, in addition to the barrier that we're waiting on, we might want to consider ordering two of those signs, one for either end of the Rod and Gun Club building that would attach to the building. So I did reach out to them to see if we could, if they had a problem with us attaching it. They put it before their board and have approved the town attaching those if we choose to go forward with it. Can't be very expensive. They're small, maybe a foot by 18 inches. And it would be something that might be there in the summer months as well to kind of remind people as they use that sidewalk that in the winter it gets closed. Just food for thought. They're in favor of it. What are your feelings?
I think it would be a good thing to do.
Andrew?
Are we under any liability concerns that you know of, Terry, by if we don't put a sign there? I mean, we've had a existing situation for I don't know how many decades. Is a sign going to increase or decrease our liability in the event that somebody slips and falls on that sidewalk?
You'd need
I
an
think the
insurance.
signs would help the town's case for sure. I think there are barricades up there now. Are there not?
There may be, but he felt that there was a better one that he's ordered one for either
Okay.
end as well. So, there will be signs there just before the first snowfall or ice situation, and after probably the end of March, they'll come down, the physical barriers to the sidewalk. But we're already seeing people go around the physical barriers to walk over the Iron Bridge sidewalk. But this is one more way to say you walk here, it's at your own risk, and you've been warned. So I didn't feel there was an issue of making putting the town in any more jeopardy of responsibility. In fact, I feel since this whole thing came out of a area resident, I can't recall if they were from Shelburne or Buckland, but an area resident who contacted us complaining about the condition of that sidewalk. So A, it's been brought to our attention. B, failing to do anything about it would be a big mistake and cause some liability, in my opinion. So two barricades sound great to me. Two barricades with an additional small sign at either end of the approach of the building seems to make sense to me as well. But it's up to you if you want to vote to have Jeff order signs like that and install them or not.
I move that we have Jeff order those two additional signs.
I have one quick comment, if it's okay. I just would worry about Jeff adhering the signs to their brick facade. Would it be something, I don't know how well or easily you can drill into a brick.
Generally, they go at the joint through the cement, not into the brick itself.
Mhm.
Uh, where there's verticals that line up, you can do a top screw and a bottom screw and a sign like
Mhm.
this in the joint, and it's not a big deal. Um, so I didn't have any concern about it, and neither did they.
Okay.
I will leave that to your pleasure, Rick. I mean, my own feeling is this is a temporary situation that occurs when the temperature forms ice on their building, and so it covers that part of the year. And if you put a sign up, you will have a sign up for 12 months of the year.
You
So
can take the sign down.
yeah, you could.
You can take them down easily the same time you take the other
So
one.
that would be the question is do you want to have yet another sign in the village pointing, naming things for people, or is the barrier that we're putting up there a sufficient advisement about the hazard? My feeling is the barrier's fine. If you want to put up a temporary sign to go with the barrier, that's fine with me too, but I'm fine with just the barrier.
Okay. Rod, you made a motion to put up the signs. Would you like to amend that motion to make it during the same season that the,
Yes, why don't, yes, I'll amend it. When the barriers go up, the sign will go up.
okay?
I
Uh,
mean, why don't we, if we're doing that, why don't we put the sign on the barrier and then you eliminate the problem of attaching it to the building?
my understanding is the barriers will have a sign.
Well, if the barrier has a sign, why do we need another sign?
That's a good question. Let's find out if the barriers do in fact have a sign. That could be an assumption that I made. Um, I don't have
If the barrier does not have a sign, I'm happy to add a sign to the barrier if other people want to do that, but I'm also fine with just putting a barrier up. I mean, a
okay.
barrier is a pretty direct signal to people, hazard, don't walk here. But whether people pay attention to signals is another question, you know.
Well, let's amend the motion to include a sign if there is not one on the barrier. Is that a friendly
That's
amendment
fine. Yes.
And the sign will go on the barrier.
on the building?
Uh,
Why not on the barrier?
Because I haven't seen one made for such a use, and I don't know what the barrier is. I mean, uh, this is a this is a sign. You saw the picture of it that everybody on Main Street, Brattleboro walks by every day. And as soon as I saw it, I said, "Oh my goodness!" and looked up and kind of went out to walk over along the edge of the road. So I kind of think it's a great idea to have it on the building. Um, Otherwise, you're reinventing the wheel to find a sign that could attach to whatever physical structure the barrier has that Jeff has ordered.
If the barriers, is the barrier just a wooden like sawhorse kind of thing?
No idea.
Because it's not hard to put signs on sawhorses. I mean, the police
I've
and
seen
highway
a
do that all the time.
I've never seen a sawhorse sign that you order from a vendor. Those are
Just
made by whatever. Well, let's leave it to Jeff. I will second the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll put the matter to a vote. Rod?
yes.
I am yes. Andrew?
I will abstain from that.
Okay, motion passes 2-0-1. We're down to new business. So we've still got 10 minutes before our first appointment. Um, Proposed bylaw change. You have that in front of you. That is a copy of the existing bylaw that regulates alcohol use in town, uh, streets, public ways, etc. After our discussion at our last meeting, I think we all agreed that there was an absence of specific wording with regard to town property and town buildings. So I am proposing that we put a warrant on the coming town meeting, uh, adding adding one sentence to the beginning of section 11, which would simply be a preface and more specific addressing of the specific issue at hand to the existing alcohol beverage bylaw. It reads, alcoholic beverages as defined in Chapter 138, Section 1 of the Massachusetts General Laws are strictly prohibited in all municipal buildings and on all municipal grounds, including those which may have been leased to other organizations. Any discussion or a motion?
Rick, I'd just like to bring up that after our initial discussion, there was a lot of concern from the public regarding Oktoberfest.
Mhm.
And I did speak with the assessor's office, and the only land that the town owns is the ball field, the northeast corner that borders Route 2 and Upper Mechanic. And the band shell itself is owned by the school, not the town or the military band.
Yes. Yes.
So future festivals at the school, approval would have to come from the district, and then if approved, the town would issue the license.
Correct. Yeah, we don't want to prohibit alcoholic beverage use on places like that that aren't town property. I'm thinking of the businesses that have tables out front, restaurants, one on Bridge Street that has seating out back for alcoholic beverage service through a window, I believe. So we don't want to be messing with that and prohibiting people from making a living in that manner. But thank you for looking into that, because I was totally mistaken. I thought the town owned the band shell and a sliver of land under it, but turns out we don't. It's over the brook to the Mechanic Street property, and then way out back, the unused ball field way up in the back corner on the other end of the school that we own. And there aren't any parties out there that I'm aware of. So any other comments or discussion? Do we have a motion to put forward this warrant article as written?
So moved.
Do we have a second? I will second the motion. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll put the matter to a vote. Rod?
Aye.
Andrew?
I will abstain from that vote.
And I am aye. Motion passes 2-0-1. We'll put that on the town warrant and let the general public decide if they like that idea. We did find, obviously, historically, over 30 years, I checked with the town clerk, to the best of his knowledge, and for 30 years of current knowledge, we've never had alcoholic beverages in any buildings or grounds allowed, and putting it in writing seems to make sense. Okay. We've still got a few moments before our first appointment. The FERCog's 2026 District Local Technical Assistance, called the DLTA request form. They provided us the form. Terry sent that around to every board, commission, and committee as they requested. They request that it go back to them, all consolidated into one newly updated form. If I'm not mistaken, the only two responses that you got, Terry, was one from our fire chief, John Taylor, and basically a support for John Taylor's request from our emergency management director, adding one additional line. And the four are from the chief: West County EMS regionalization study implementation as a project, regional sheltering plan, strengthening emergency preparedness and response, update of the regional mass casualty incident response plan, and the emergency management director wanted to add emergency management director sharing as the fifth project that we add to this before we return it to the FERCog. Any comments, discussion, or motion?
I had flagged three others that I had questions about. One is the question as to whether the municipal asset inventory project that they have listed there would be a way for our finance committee to get what they want out of the um, meeting the auditor's concerns about municipal assets without having to spend our own money on that project. Terry, does that look to you like a DLTA that would accomplish that objective?
Can you tell me, Andrew, what page that's on? Just, I'm
Uh,
not finding that.
a second. It's
Oh, community asset
yes,
inventory.
right.
What page is that on?
Yeah, it's on the second page.
2.
Unfortunately, that would only be a small piece of the puzzle. The GASB requirements is looking for roadways, buildings, vehicles, equipment, sewage lines, drainage.
Okay, so scratch that then. I was just raising that on the off chance that we could get that done without having to spend a lot of money on it.
Good
Um,
idea. A good
but
idea.
the other one that came up as a question for me was the downtown district one. Is that something that the group that is doing that three-town project, is that something that they want or would be helpful to them?
They did not respond to the request. So it looks like this would extend the pilot period beyond the 18 months.
That was my question, was whether
Mm.
that is something desirable that we should alert them to, and say, do you all have some momentum going that you want to keep going, and would this be a way to help you do that?
My 2 cents on that, for what it's worth, about 2 cents, is when this first came up to us to kick in, I can't remember the number, but additional money to push this pilot project another 6 months because they felt the time they had funded was inadequate to come up with any interesting data. They said, okay, well, we want to go out another 6 months. They asked us for money to kick in to do it. Andrew wisely got us to pair Buckland and Shelburne's share of that to match the other two, Montague and Northfield. But to me, I'm a show me guy. Show me what you're doing. Show me what you got, and then ask me if you want to extend it. So I would hate to add that to our wish list to say that we would support extending it when we don't have a clue if it was worth a nickel we put in.
Well,
I
that's
did
what
attend. Oh, go ahead, Andrew.
I was just saying that given that these DLTA things come and go and are fairly opaque to probably 98% of the public, if not more, um, it might be worthwhile to um, take them up on what Rick is suggesting and say, would you like to come in and tell us what you've done and whether you would like to have us support you in this DLTA extension request?
Well, this
Well, the
has
deadline for
been,
submitting this is Friday.
yeah.
I did attend one meeting of the downtown group and said that it would carry a lot of weight to have the individual who's been hired for this project to schedule a meeting with our board so that we have a face and that we know what they've accomplished so far. And I have yet to hear from that individual, but I'll certainly reach out again.
I haven't heard of
Okay.
anything they've done for Shelburne Buckland yet. They may have, but I haven't heard of
It's
it.
a small group. I think Ted Hanna, Ellen Purrington, Pam Guyette was at the meeting. It's a few people, and Kate Chadwick, I
Chadwick.
believe, also.
All right. Well, I will. I work with Kate on the capital campaign project, so I'll shoot her an email about it and say you should be contacting the select board.
Great. Thank you for doing that, Andrew. So
The only other one that I had in my list of questions is I know that the Shelburne Cultural Council has raised sort of queries about going after grants for public art. And some of that stuff came up last year in a big hurry, and the deadline was looming. And my response to them was, I would hold off if I were you and get the community behind you before you do, go in for a public art installation, because they inevitably raise questions about where to put them and what people think about them and all that kind of stuff. Um, and so there is a public art planning DLTA here that I thought might be useful to the Cultural Council if they were wanting to do more in that direction.
yeah, I
They
agree.
too received this form. I mean, I sent it out to every group possible that would meet one of these categories. And I only heard from 3 groups.
Okay.
All right.
Well, all right. I will let them know that that they missed the boat this year, and that if they want to put their oar in the water, they should respond to you next time.
Terrific. So do we have a motion? Do we need to put it to a vote, the 5 categories that we'd like to add?
Well, we have to choose 3.
Oh, okay. So we have West County EMS regionalization study and or implementation, regional sheltering plan, strengthening emergency preparedness and response, update of the regional mass casualty incident response plan, and emergency management director sharing. We happen to
I would
have,
recommend, since John Taylor is here, that we hear from him about what his prioritization of those 5 are.
I took a breath and you said exactly where I was going.
Okay.
John, would you like to unmute and give us what you think the top 3 of those might be in your opinion, since you submitted 4 of the 5?
Well, let's see. Thank you. Yeah, obviously I'm biased. I think the West County ambulance regionalization is kind of an important one at this point in our lives. The other one that came up was the mass casualty plan implementation. It exists, but we're just trying to get a little more attention because it's something that's been lingering
Well,
on the back burner.
You phrased it update of the regional mass casualty incident response plan.
Correct. It exists. It just hasn't really been rolled out very well. So I'm hoping to get the COG involved to
Okay.
move it along a little bit.
Okay, that leaves emergency management director sharing, strengthening emergency preparedness and response, and regional sheltering plan.
Yeah, I think those were all Tom Williams's ideas. I think all of them are uh, good. I would tend to lean toward the sheltering discussion again because there is a sheltering plan. And I don't know how that's phrased, but it's something that it exists but needs to be updated and practiced again.
Yeah.
It's been a number of years.
I recall discussion about that in a recent meeting as well. So if we did West County EMS regionalization study, regional sheltering plan, and update of the mass casualty response plan, those would be 3 that seem to make sense as well. Any other thoughts, difference of opinion, Rod or Andrew?
Oh, I'm good.
Andrew?
I'm fine with that. I think John is the only one who has come forward and met his responsibilities. So to the victor go the spoils.
Agreed. Do we need a motion, Terry, or is that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, please.
We need a motion to put forward in the request for the request form for DLTA from the COG for West County EMS regionalization study implementation, regional sheltering plan, and update of the regional mass casualty incident response plan. Do we have such a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, put the matter to a vote. Rod?
Aye.
Andrew?
Aye.
And I am aye. Motion passes 3-0-0.
Thank you.
Okay, we're 5 minutes late, John, but we got you in pretty close to on time anyway, just for a different subject since you were handy. But it's time for your appointment. You brought us in our packet. We got a copy of your original request communication from December 22nd. We also have, following that, a document titled Town of Shelburne Addressing Regulation. Would you like to speak to that?
Yes. Thanks for having me. I think this goes back, and I didn't look, but I think Terry can probably find it. It probably goes back to last spring. The recommendation from the Mass 911 Commission or department is that the town have bylaws in effect and procedures in effect as to how street numbering happens. So if you recall, last year there was a bylaw that was submitted for town meeting approval. My recollection is that passed, and I'm presuming that it got approved by the AG's office since
It
we
did. It did.
we used their words. So I hope that they approved it.
They did.
So
I
that's
confirm that, John.
so the bylaw has been implemented or approved, and now the second part is the town regulation. It's kind of like the nuts and bolts, and this would be something that my understanding is the select board would set kind of as a policy or procedure, and then that just allows the select board, if it needs to be updated administratively, the select board could do it down the road. It wouldn't have to go back before town meeting unless there was something, that major that changed with the bylaw wording.
But this itself does not need to go to town meeting. Is that right?
Right. Since the bylaw was passed, this would just be and Terry could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the Board of Selectmen just would approve this as a procedure. I did talk to the assessor's clerk, which is Karen, right? As I recall.
Yes.
Some time ago, and she was going to bring it up to the assessors. I didn't hear back on the communication. Essentially, as you review this, it basically says that if somebody needs an address numbering, it would go to the 911 data coordinator who would provide the number. And the assessors would be responsible for maintaining the master database, which is their assessor's database. That's the town would designate that as the official database for records, which is my understanding of how most towns are doing it.
The assessors did review this and have no problem with it.
Yeah, because I don't think if we had a GIS department at town hall, then probably it would be them and not the assessors. But since we're not big enough to have a GIS department, then it usually falls on the assessors to keep the data.
And it references throughout the E911 data coordinator, which currently is you, correctly?
Correct.
And we obviously then have somewhere outside of this document naming that position.
There is language in the state system as far as what the data coordinator does versus I think there's another one, which is a response coordinator or something, which I believe is Shelburne Controls designated to be the response coordinator. But we can track that down for reference purposes. But yeah.
Okay. Right. Rod or Andrew, comments, discussion?
No.
Before we go there, John, secondly, there was a template, municipal addressing regulation. That was simply to give us an idea of what the template was that you used to build this piece, or is it?
Yeah, I think the first page was the first page was like their intro, explaining what they wanted to accomplish, and then the bylaws, or not the, sorry, the bylaw, the regulation starts, I think, on page 2.
Yep.
Yes.
So this is what was set forth by Mass GIS and the 911 department is what we should do. So we basically just inserted names into and titles pretty much as they suggested. And then again, the purpose, just to go over it, is just to allow people. We have had at least one person a few years ago assign their own address, which put them out of order. So I told them they'd have to move their house, and they didn't like that at all. So they decided that a new street number would be cheaper. So we've had that. This basically just puts it into black and white that that's what the town says. You can't just number your own house, that sort of thing. So
Terrific. I think it puts the second step of that bylaw that was passed at town meeting into play, and we can move forward. If there's a motion to accept it as presented, we can have discussion after or ahead, whatever you wish.
I will so move.
Second.
The move has been moved and seconded to put it forward as presented.
Correct, yes. I'm sorry.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll put the matter to a vote. Rod?
Aye.
Andrew?
Aye.
And I am aye. Motion passes 3-0. John Taylor, thanks for shepherding this. Great job of staying on top of it and having it in order. Good job. Thank you.
thank you very much. I have 2 quick things, if I can take a minute of your time.
Certainly may.
One is I just wanted to if Terry wanted to note it for the record that this morning we had an emergency call for someone had fallen in the driveway, and was unable to get back up again. I just want to thank the police department, the highway department. They both coordinated really fast with us to make sure that in case the ambulance was needed, it could get there, and the police department showed up along with us to help. And so that was, I just appreciate the support that we get from those departments, and really, again, just think it's great that they do what they do for us. The second item is just a sort of a forewarning that I'm gonna along this 911 thing. One of the projects we're working on is identifying street naming for private roads, and we're trying to do some clarification on that. Just for example, like Wilcox Hollow Access Road there, some maps show it as Wilcox Hollow Road, so we just want to have the select board officially accept that name, because that is, my understanding is that you are the folks that would accept street names. For example, when Dragon Hill was constructed, it was the select board that had to approve the street name based on the recommendation of all those involved, planning and highway and police and fire and all that. So there's a few of those clarification of roads. And then the second thing that we're doing, I don't think it's going to require your approval. It's just letting you know that we're trying to set out numbers for public areas like cemeteries, ball fields, hiking trails, just so that's part of this whole 911 thing, to allow people, if they have their cell phone and they don't know exactly where they are, the cell phone's going to triangulate them and actually give us a street number, or as close as we could get, as opposed to just, well, I'm on the hiking trail that's up above Shelburne Falls. Okay, well, that's great. It may be all we still would get, but at least if they can identify whether they might be like on the Mohawk Mohican Trail, or whether they're on the Fire Tower Trail, or the potholes, down by the potholes, something like that, that would just help in triangulating where they are. So that's just another project that's ongoing.
Good. Great.
John,
You do.
John, just on that regard, I'm just curious, once these private roads and trails and things have been put forward and accepted by the select board, um, does that then help regularize the nomenclature for um, all the emergency response folks that and their various databases that you have, and does that get then scraped by uh, bigger companies like Google Maps and things like that in terms of where people go to, find a trail or a road or something like that?
That is my understanding, and I've asked that exactly how often that data gets uploaded essentially to like Google and Waze and those guys. But if, well, just for example, if we are like Arm Cemetery is just Arm Cemetery, doesn't really have a street number, we'll assign it a street number. That data we send to Mass GIS. They put it in their state database, as well as coordinating with the assessor's office for our MAT, our master address table. That was that bylaw thing we just did. So it goes in the Mass GIS database, and that, my understanding is anyway, is where all these companies go for updating their data.
I see. Okay.
So anytime we find an address that's incorrect or something's not plotting well in like Google Maps, we'll try to figure out what's going on and see why.
Mhm.
Sometimes it actually works to fix it. So,
Great. Well, thanks for improving the data.
hopefully.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right.
We are in conveniently and any other business not anticipated 48 hours before posting of the agenda anyway. One thing that triggered my memory that I meant to write down and failed to, when I asked Jeff about the barricading Deerfield Avenue, and showed him the sign for attaching to the rod and gun. He said that in passing, he had ordered the barricades along with a sign Andrew had told him to order for Bassett Road. Trying to remember. You recall what that was, Andrew? It's in, I got it in an email, I guess. I thought it was in a text, but I'll pull it up. And
It was down that way that there was a sign that a resident noted had been removed or something like that, and Jeff noted to me that that seemed to be a fairly regular occurrence. So some person or persons seems to take pleasure in removing that sign.
interesting. Okay, so this was just a replacement of a stolen sign.
I guess, yeah.
Okay, it was a street name sign.
Yes.
I'd say
Yes, it may have been Bassett Road. I just don't recall now what the name on the sign was. But Jeff will know.
Okay, terrific. Good. All right. Also, under any other business, our next meeting is February 9th. And lastly, unless someone else has an additional, Andrew, you would ask for time under any other business regarding smart meters.
Oh, yeah, just to say that the Energy Committee did, at fairly short notice, pull together an information meeting that residents had requested to learn more about the Eversource's smart meter installation project. And I think Joe was kind enough to uh, jump to the project of putting that out on the robocall because it was fairly, and we did get something they did get something in the recorder. But in any case, it was well attended. There were, I think, over 30 people there. And good discussion, good sharing of information. There were 3 Eversource representatives there. The thing that seemed, other than there's a group of people who have concerns about radio frequency radiation, so there was a fair amount of discussion about that. And we did learn some things about radio frequencies. which was interesting. But I would say the item that really came to the fore that Eversource took away with them, but I wanted to put in this hopper as well, is that the Eversource proposal or approach to installing these smart meters includes an opt-out provision. If people don't want uh, the smart part of the meter, which is essentially the radio signal that communicates your information to the um, you know, transfer equipment that's installed on telephone poles around town, um, that relays it back to headquarters. That's essentially what the smart meter is all about, is being able to transmit your electricity data via these radio signals. Um, and if people don't want that on their smart meter, the opt-out cost is $34 a month, which many people, including me, thought was both excessive and punitive. And that in addition to it being an expensive opt-out, it's even more egregious if you live in a multifamily building. Like, say you have two or three or eight or 10 meters right next to each other. Eversource is going to charge every single one of those meters $34 a month. So you could have $300 worth of meter reading right in one location. Um, if to satisfy the opt-out provision. Eversource's representatives did acknowledge that in other utility districts in New Hampshire and Vermont, and the opt-out cost is zero. And I think in neighboring Massachusetts districts, it's as low as $10 a month. So I thought that the pricing of the opt-out should be comparable to our neighboring districts and not set at egregiously high or punitive levels. And that we should communicate that to the DPU, to our legislators, and to the governor, as well along with Eversource, which heard that message at the information session. So that would be my proposal to you all, to see whether you would support that motion to draft a letter to Eversource, um, requesting a more reasonable opt-out charge in line with other utility districts.
Other utility districts in Massachusetts.
Or just the average cost, yeah, of what the market is bearing there, rather than us being sort of an outlier.
Yeah. You mentioned New Hampshire has a zero opt-out. Um, I don't know that are they serviced by Eversource or some other?
I think Eversource is multi-state, yeah.
So,
I don't know. John may know more about this than I do. I'm fairly new to the Eversource game.
well, I think it's more important what they're charging other people in Massachusetts. If uh, Hampden County, Worcester County are paying $10 opt-out fees and we're paying 34. I'm sure they have a reason, like, well, the houses are 10 miles apart. We're down there, they're every other 20 feet.
Mm.
That could come into play, but asking for some parity, would that be the right word, between across Massachusetts? That something to the effect of, it seems punitive to have such a discrepancy. Could you respond to us and give us feedback on that specifically? I would be in favor of you crafting or someone crafting such a communication. Do you want to write something up, Andrew, and bring it next meeting? Or
I can, unless Terry, you have more of a contact with your EverSource representative contact that you want to follow up on this and see if we can get some clarity about what the situation is around us, because we didn't get full data from the representatives at the meeting as to what is actually being charged in our neighboring utility districts.
I'd be
Yeah.
happy to reach out. I reached out on behalf of some of our buildings with heat pumps last week to see if we would receive the heat pump rate, but it doesn't apply to commercial buildings. So I will follow up with this individual on the surcharge for opting out.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think knowing what they're charging other regions across the state would be very helpful to then let us craft a request for an adjustment perhaps. But until we know the details, kind of shooting in the dark. So go ahead, find that out for us and let us know what to say.
All right.
Is that good, Andrew?
Yeah, I don't know if you all saw, I did call EverSource about the heat pump rate because this month's electric bill was a little confusing. They had changed the electricity rate in the middle of the month, so every line item on the bill is double. You know, there's one rate for half the month and the other rate for the other half, and then in addition to that, there's a third rate for the heat pump customers, and so it was a little confusing to sort out your electric bill. And in addition, I think the governor is filing legislation to, provide a 25% discount for utility customers. I mean, that has to go through the legislature. If that passes, that'll be another change in the billing. But so those are things that we will need to keep track of. But my understanding is that for at least for residential heat pump customers, the heat pump rate so far is about a 5%, 5 cent reduction per kilowatt hour for those people who qualify for that. Is that your understanding, Terry?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Anyone have anything else for under any other business? Hearing none, any correspondence?
No.
And public comment? And that would be you, John, if you have any comment. Then a motion to adjourn is in order.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, put the matter to a vote. Rod?
Aye.
Andrew?
Aye.
I am aye. Motion passes 3-0-0. Thank you very much, you guys. Appreciate it.
Good night, everyone.